Can you heal hormonal acne with diet? Today, I'm answering this question plus 6 ways you can know that you're struggling with hormonal acne, as well as 6 action steps you can take to start to create your very own hormonal acne diet plan. Let's go. I'm Therese, and after 15 years of dealing with acne, I finally cleared my skin naturally, and I created my acne clearing program, The Clear Code, to help you do the same. 6.5 years and thousands of clients later, I've made it my life's work to get you clear skin without pills, creams, and or crazy hormones. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video. So here's the thing. I am going to lay it all out for you from a hormonal acne diet plan shortly, but I really want you to watch through the whole video. It is so important to me that you are empowered with information that I didn't have. And so creating a hormonal acne diet plan is fantastic, but also knowing why you're doing it is even more powerful. So everything I'm about to share is going to kind of stack on top of itself. So make sure you watch through all the way to the end. Okay. So how do you know if your acne is hormonal? That's the first question that I know you're having, because even though you probably typed hormonal acne diet plan into the search bar, there's still part of you that's like, do I even have hormonal acne though? How can I be sure? So here are the 6 questions you have to ask yourself about whether or not you're struggling with hormonal acne. Okay, I'm going to go over all of them. And keynote, if you say yes to 4 or more, you are most likely dealing with hormonal acne. You got your period before you were 11. You've taken the birth control pill. You have jawline acne, chin acne, cystic acne, and or breakouts mid-cycle, so 14 days after your period or so, or right pre-period. You get breakouts right before your period. You have a crazy sweet tooth. So did you answer yes to 4 or more of those? If so, type yes below, because number one, I want to support you, but also you are most likely in the right place because you're probably dealing with hormonal acne. You found it difficult to say yes to 4 or more of these, I actually want you to take a different action. I want you to go down to the link below and and watch the acne root triggers video that I created for you. There's a quiz there that'll give you a little bit more clarity around what's causing your breakouts, okay? Let's talk about the main players when it comes to hormones and your acne and how they're impacted by your food, because that is super important. They are estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, DHEA, DHT, as well as insulin. And I really want you to understand how much hormones impact our entire lives, okay? Your hormones make you who you are. So let's say you identify as female and you start to take a hormone like testosterone, for example. There would be specific changes that would occur in your body from a physical perspective that would be a result of taking that hormone. So you may grow facial hair, your voice pitch would lower, you may become more aggressive. Or let's say you identify as male and you start taking estrogen. The pitch in your voice may lower, you may grow breasts, you may grow hair in different places on your body. Hormones impact everything. Or another example is, let's say you started taking insulin. That would naturally lower your blood sugar levels within your body. So hormones are chemical messengers, and they impact every aspect of your life. So now that we know that, and we can kind of see how hormones impact our bodies physically, please know that every piece of food that you eat impacts your hormones and your body on the whole as well. I think there is a tendency, especially in Western culture, to view the body as kind of like a pizza that you can take a piece out, fix it, or change it, and then just put it back in, and it'll have no impact on the rest of the pizza. And our bodies aren't really like pizza. This is a ridiculous analogy, but I think you get it. Everything that you eat impacts every other aspect of your body system. So let's say you ate pizza every single meal for 5 years. That would impact your body. You'd develop probably something like diabetes, you'd have heart issues, cholesterol issues. It wouldn't happen overnight, and it wouldn't happen in a day. And I love pizza, so I think everyone should eat it, but will it impact you long term if you're making consistent choices from a food perspective? Absolutely. So that being said, our bodies are really strong. They're really resilient. Our gut bacteria kills bad bacteria. Insulin regulates our blood sugar levels. Hormones help us to fall asleep and wake up. Our body is like this beautiful ecosystem that is really strong. And so it can handle a lot. But the issue that I see often with hormonal acne in particular is that there have been systemic issues for a long time that have really impacted ultimately your skin. So it's never going to be just one thing when it comes to your hormonal acne that's causing all the issues. It's usually a larger systemic question. So when it comes to healing hormonal acne with your diet, there are two big themes I want you to keep in mind. We're going to chat about them quickly. Blood sugar and digestion. Blood sugar management from an acne perspective is kind of the holy grail in acne clearing, but that does not mean that I don't want you to eat a cookie, okay? Do not take that from this video. Do not DM me and say you had a cookie and you broke out the next day, because that is not what caused it, okay? Let's talk more. Here's what I mean when I say blood sugar management is very important to acne healing. Most of us are chronically dysglycemic throughout the day. So what does that mean? That means we're experiencing high spikes of blood sugar and then low lows of blood sugar, both of which aren't great for our body and or our hormones, and therefore our acne. Let's say you eat a big serving of like brownie and an ice cream on its own. The first thing that's going to happen is that eventually all gets converted to glucose almost immediately in your body. So the first thing that happens is your body gets that message that you just had a ton of sugar, and it's like, alert, because it doesn't want your blood sugar to get too high. So it'll release insulin. And that is fantastic. That is a body doing its job. It's magical and it's amazing. The issue becomes when you have a diet high in sugar over time and you end up with elevated levels of insulin over time as well. Higher levels of insulin in your bloodstream and in your body over time trigger the increase of another hormone called insulin growth factor 1. Insulin growth factor 1 is a powerful mitogen for all of your body tissues. Insulin growth factor 1 ultimately triggers mitosis, which is the division of cells. And here's why that's important. Because of this, higher levels of insulin growth factor 1 can trigger hypercell growth, which is exactly what we don't want from an acne perspective, because the very first thing, the first kind of stage and or action step that happens when you're getting breakouts on your face, especially here, is that you have too many skin cells at the pore. So you don't want excess skin cell growth, and that's exactly what a diet high in sugar, which means a body high in insulin and high in IGF-1 can lead to. On this note, let's talk a little bit about how stress impacts oil production as well around here, because I think this kind of links in really well and is very important for you to know from a hormonal acne perspective. Let's say you've got a big job interview and you've had a few coffees. I'm laughing because I do this all the time. I don't really anymore, but I used to. And you're pretty stressed and anxious. Here's what happens in your body and in your skin from an acne perspective, okay? First, your mind takes note of this event on a chemical level in your amygdala. Through a series of chemical chain reactions, a few things happen. Norepinephrine, which mobilizes sugar from around the body, is released. Adrenals start to pump out powerful steroids like cortisol and adrenaline, which also releases more sugar into your bloodstream. We store kind of glucose in the form of glycogen in our liver. And when we get stressed, our body says, oh, hey, release that. We need sugar because it helps the fight or flight response. As this entire process is going on, the amygdala to the hypothalamus to your adrenals, blood flow is then shuttled from your skin to the muscles and ultimately to prepare you kind of for war, for the stress, right? And this redistribution of blood flow, all of these chemicals being released, also causes cortisol to be released. And guess what that does? It increases oil production. So then we're led to a situation which ultimately is exactly what we don't want. We have higher levels of glucose in our system. There's more oil and more sebum clogging up the pores in an unnatural way. There's overall inflammation in the body. And then the pore is just ready, unfortunately, kind of primed for bacteria to grow in it and to create a breakout. Also, very importantly, and the second theme to create a hormonal acne diet plan is that when this is all happening, your body is going to shuttle blood flow and energy away from your digestive system because it's going to take blood flow and other kind of, it's just going to focus a lot on mobilizing your muscles for a fight or flight experience. So because of that, your digestion becomes impacted. You'll be constipated, you'll have diarrhea. Like, how many of us have had diarrhea at the moment, like prior to a really big event in our lives, right? This is exactly why, because our body wants to get rid of everything. It doesn't care about digestion because that's kind of like a higher function, right? I mean, digestion is very important, but survival is number one. So being in kind of constantly stressed situations, your digestion is going to be impaired. I have a ton of videos on gut health and your digestion, so I won't go too much into it. I'll link to them below. But when your gut is impaired, you're not able to absorb really important nutrients like zinc, vitamin A. You're not able to kill harmful bacteria that can cause things like leaky gut or an overgrowth of harmful bacteria. And as a result, that can often show up in your skin. Oftentimes I see digestion issues show up more in the forehead, but they definitely impact your hormonal acne because of everything I just shared. So now that you're equipped and empowered with all that information, let's create your hormonal acne diet plan, okay? 2 key themes that I want you to focus on prior to these exact 6 steps to create your hormonal acne diet plan. They are keeping your blood sugar balanced and healing your gut flora to create a happy little digestion process for yourself. And on that note, here are the 6 action steps you should take to create your hormonal acne diet plan. If you take these action steps and you follow them really, really consistently for, I'd say 2.5, 3+ weeks, I can almost guarantee that you will see an improvement in hormonal acne, especially along your jawline. Okay. Step number 1 is to eat breakfast. This is the probably biggest mistake I see with people with hormonal acne. They'll skip breakfast. And think about it. You skip breakfast, your body's already in a fasting state, so your blood sugar is quite low. But what happens when you skip breakfast and then you go and like run to the train and then run to a big meeting, it's so much stress on your body. It needs fuel, it needs food, it wants breakfast. You haven't given it to it, so then it releases sugar. And then your body releases insulin. It just becomes this like crazy cycle. And then you'll be starving by lunch. So you won't make the best choices. You'll grab pizza and or like a hamburger because your body just wants glucose so badly. And it's like this crazy, it's crazy, like it just folds in on itself as an issue for you over time. So my biggest recommendation is to have a breakfast. This is my favorite breakfast for anyone dealing with hormonal acne. Have 2 eggs, half an avocado, and a handful of blueberries. I can't tell you how good this will feel. It sounds kind of boring. It kind of is, to be honest. It's not like the most gourmet thing. But you will feel so clear-headed. You'll be full. You'll be able to focus. And it's very good for your hormones and your blood sugar. Step number 2 is to pair healthy fats with most of your meals and especially all of your snacks. So you know that like 3 p.m. slump? I know that 3 p.m. slump. I'm really familiar with that 3 p.m. slump where you're like, I'm going to die. I just need a muffin or a cookie, right? It's the worst. The worst thing you can do at that time is actually eat a muffin or a cookie. Because all it's going to do is spike your blood sugar up. You're going to be hyper for like 30 minutes. You're going to be, and then 20 minutes later, you're going to be like, right? Right. You know what I'm talking about. Ideally, you'd grab an unripe banana or kind of unripe. The less ripe a banana is, the less sugar it has. Less of an impact, less of a glycemic impact it'll have, I should say. So grab like a semi-unripe banana with a big handful of almonds as your snack. Try to have things like avocado, coconut oil, olive oil, coconut chips with your meals so that ultimately what this does, what these healthy fats do, is they kind of slow the glycemic response in your body so you won't have this huge blood sugar spike, which is really important for your hormonal acne. The third action step is try to eat at least 10 vegetables a day. If you can't get 10, I know that's a lot to ask, especially in the beginning of your journey. Aim for 5. And focus on cruciferous vegetables too, because they really help with estrogen detoxification. So here's how I do this. I will have an avocado-ish with breakfast. And or like I'll have some steamed spinach on the side of whatever I'm eating. It's usually eggs, steamed spinach, and like a little fruit. Sorry, New York City's loud. And then I'll have, for lunch, I'll have like a big salad. And then for dinner, I'll have a high quality protein like lentils or salmon. And then I'll have like spinach and kale on the side. Boom, 8 veggies. And these cruciferous vegetables are really full of fiber, Like I mentioned, they're going to help with estrogen detoxification, which you really need, especially if you're dealing with jawline acne. Estrogen detoxification is going to be huge for you. And they have vitamins A and K, all of which are really important to your hormonal acne. Step number 4 is to make sure you're taking a probiotic daily and eating fermented foods daily. So like I mentioned, gut health is so important, and I'll share a video below where I talk more about that, but having a healthy, healed gut will support you on so many different levels. And if you've taken antibiotics in the past year for anything, I can almost guarantee that your gut flora is a little impaired. Also, grabbing foods like fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha, all of those are going to be really helpful. Step number 5, you're not going to like that much, but bear with me, is to remove dairy for about 30 days and see how it goes. Take a deep breath while I'm saying this to you, because I know you just freaked out because you love cheese. And I do too. I eat cheese. Dairy doesn't have a huge impact on me, but I didn't eat it for about 30 to 45 days when I first began my acne healing journey. And this kind of goes back to the gut stuff we've just been talking about. When you have an impaired gut, you are going to be far less able to process foods like dairy. So if you remove dairy, which is potentially irritating to your body on many different levels, and you focus on gut healing, I'd say 90% of my clients can add dairy back in after we've healed some gut stuff. So remove dairy for about 30 days and see how it goes. And don't worry, you can eat pizza again, I promise. The 6th action step is to drink spearmint tea nightly. I've had so many people message me and tell me that this really worked for them, and I loved it. I never had the chance to try it because I just didn't need to, because I healed so well with food. But it has been shown to have anti-androgenic properties, and supposedly it works very, very well for a lot of people. So definitely give that a try, and I'll link to a study about it below. So how does all that sound? It's so important to me that you have the theory and the science behind this anti-hormonal acne diet plan. Because once you understand why you're making the choices you're making, everything is better. And also, please know, I kind of mentioned this already, one cookie is not going to cause an issue. One chip is not going to cause hormonal acne. It's never one thing, and especially with hormonal acne, it's usually systemic and a little bit more complicated. But if you take action consistently with all of these action steps that I just mentioned and really track your progress and stay 90% committed, I can almost guarantee you'll see an improvement. So I want you to take action right now. I would love it if you are still wondering about a few of your triggers. Head to the link below and take my acne personality quiz. It's a 10-question, 30-second quiz that'll get you a ton of clarity around why you're breaking out. And it'll also give you 3 action steps and 3 recipes you can try to start to heal your acne naturally. Also, if you want to join a safe, private, and empathetic community of people struggling with their acne just like you, we have a private Facebook group. You can meet other people struggling with their skin as well, so find the link below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new one. Also type yes below because I would love to support you. And most important, do you have a friend or a bestie who's like, I have tried freaking everything for my skin and it's driving me insane and I don't know what else to do? Please send them this video. I would love to be this spark of knowledge and information and kind of the person that starts to connect the dots for anyone that you love around their skin journey, because I know I wish I had had that kind of growing up and dealing with my skin. Okay, I will talk to you next time.